Hi everybody. Today I felt the urge to talk about a book that I've been reading. I haven't finished it yet. I'm actually the beginning. But there's a there's a concept in this book that to me is very I find very powerful, and I just wanted to share some thoughts that maybe might intrigue you, and maybe you wanna check out this book yourself. So the book I'm talking about is Frankenstein, the 1818 original text, and so this is the title. And then there's written underneath like the modern Prometheus. Okay, as far as I know, Prometheus was this guy that went against the gods in Greek mythology, right? Which is the equivalent of Lucifer, who's the only angel that went against God, right? So, so then when I read that, I was like, how is that related to Frankenstein? My only thought of Frankenstein is this scene in black and white from a movie or something, where there is this crazy looking scientist like turning on a lever to wake up the monster Frankenstein, right? That's the only thing I know about Frankenstein, which is very such a corny and corny scene that I have in my mind. Anyway, I picked up the book because there was written 1818 original text, so I thought maybe the source material is kind of different from the movie. And I'm not sure. I think I'm right. So I arrived at chapter one of the initial chapters, where the plot is like this. So there is this guy is going to the North Pole to find more convenient route through the North Pole. So he wants to go with a boat and stuff like that. Okay, for a better commercial route. So yeah, it's gonna become famous, and I think it's for glory and economic gain, something like that. Anyway, so he's an explorer. Okay, so he goes there with his crew and everything, and is the captain. And at some point they get stuck in the ice, of course, and they see at distance on the yeah in distance they see this like huge figure, like looks like a person, moving on a sledge with dogs. Okay, but they did kind of an estimation. The entire crew, they were like, that thing is crazy. It's like 8 meters tall, something like that. Like it's huge. Anyway, this figure like moves by, on the background, and then they find like a guy on a very small broken boat that's about to die, drowning in the cold water. And but they manage to pick him up, and after a couple of weeks, he gets better and better, and he shows that he's an intellectual, so to speak, because this is what the captain was looking for a friend at his own level, so to speak. And okay, so they start interacting, but this guy, the guy that's been saved, doesn't want to go deeper or open himself to the captain. But at some point, he's like, okay, you wanna know about me? Here's my story. And he tells his story, and his story is about it's like he grew up in a fantastic, like perfect family, but that's it. After that, everything went down. At the age of 17, he moves to Germany to pursue some studies in science. um, and at the beginning, of course, he struggles a lot, but then after a couple of years, he becomes like a master. He goes way much beyond his teachers, and he becomes obsessed with becoming like not famous, but to um, improve science, to be one of the scientists that's gonna be remembered in history. So he goes in this journey. He works. Some point he discovered like a secret. So he discovers a law of nature, so to speak, and this secret is he can now give life to inanimated objects. Okay, and from here you start to understand what the Prometheus thing was about. Okay, so he starts working on his project, and he goes learning about anatomy and everything. So he wanted to create a human, a person. Okay, but since it worked like pragmatically, to build a person you need to I don't know how he does it, but you need to design and build all the capillaries, all the cells and stuff, right? So he explains that this would require too much precision, and he wanted to make the project doable. So he made the person bigger, so it's easier to work on the body, on all the details. Okay, so that means that the big guy that they saw at the North Pole was his creation, of course, right? That's the hint. And at the end, he manages. After I don't know how long, he manages. And one day and one night, actually, this being comes to live, becomes alive. And at that point, the obsession is over of the scientist, and from then there's just regret, but like infinite regret. Like he looks at the Frankenstein, at the monster. Is he a monster? I don't know. Is the scientist the monster? So he looks up and he's like, what have I done? Like, okay. Now, the story goes on. He stopped when he's reading the letters from his future wife, so to speak. And to me, this was, I don't know, great. Like, the regret, the obsession, the secret that he managed to find, like how to give life to anything. And this is the Prometheus thing. So he basically substituted himself to God, because in theory only God is allowed to give life. He's the creator, right? But this guy, he said, okay, I found out how to create, now I'm gonna create. So yeah, that's what he did, and that's the mistake, because after you create something, there are some responsibilities, and there are some stuff that even though you shouldn't do. Example, you know how to create an atomic bomb, maybe you shouldn't do it. You can stop at knowing, but not move forward and make it real, right? For example, in the next future, I believe we're gonna know how to perfectly engineer people. Okay, so they are perfect, no diseases, tall, muscular, whatever, right? Super resilient, smart. But should we do it? Like, you can know how to do something, but when you do it, then there are consequences. Like, what will happen, right? If we have perfect humans, then all the imperfect humans, like, they are a lower category. How does that work? And then everybody's gonna go pursue, for example, if you want to find a lover, you want the perfect human, maybe. Is that how it's gonna work? You can extend this reasoning to anything, but to me, the fact that this guy did something unforgivable, because he started giving life, right? Also, where do you stop? You start giving life to a chair, to anything. And so yeah, to me this was I like when there are these piece of medias, could be a book or whatever, a podcast, or a movie that they make you think, right? Like yeah, like recently, I'm going off topic, I don't care, but recently this movie that's been everybody's talking about it, Obsession. It's a movie I didn't like it technically, like I didn't like it, but makes you think, made me think like about the main character, the guy. He's taking advantage of the girl. He knows that, but he keeps going. Like why? And he wants to believe. He like bends reality. He creates his own narrative that he's not taking advantage of her, but he knows that behind closed doors. He knows that. So this is clearly a metaphor for kind of. It's not kind of. This is clearly rape because she's behaving against her will, and so but this makes you think as the audience. While I was watching, I was like, is this guy bad or not? Like, he looks innocent, he's regretful, you can tell, but he never shows, especially to other people, because otherwise that would be the confirmation that he's a rapist, that he's a monster. So there's a movie that makes you think. Meanwhile, I don't remember the title, unfortunately, but there was this movie that was nominated for Oscars still this year. Was again same topic. I would say that same topic, which is rape, but it was very explicit. So there was this student. She was studying at university. Maybe she was pursuing a master in literature, something like that. And yeah, the teacher shows appreciation. Of course, it's easy to read the room. Anyway, she's very naive, or I don't know. She self sabotaged herself. You know, the human mind is complicated. So someday she's supposed to meet the professor in his office at school, but guess what? For some reason, he's not there. So he tells her, "Come back to my place," and what happens. Afterwards, she's crying. She's whatever. She goes to her friend. She explains everything that happened in details, and from then on, she's traumatized. Okay, to me, this is very explicit. There is nothing for me to think about. The only thought that I had, maybe because I'm a man, I'm terrible, I'm a monster, but my only thought was like, because I was watching this with a girl, a friend, I was like, I stopped the movie and I was like, why did she go in there? She's 24 something, right? Plus, at least. It's impossible that she didn't know what was about to happen behind closed doors, right? Her best friend even told her that there was sexual tension, that to she made some sexual jokes about her and her professor, right? That was my only thought, but the movie is very, very much explicit, so there's not much to think about it. And I appreciate Obsession for that. That makes me think, or gives me the opportunity to think. There's a trigger, there's an opportunity. Okay. And same for this book. I haven't finished it yet. I'm just at the beginning. I'm gonna keep reading it right now because talking about it gave me, yeah, now I wanna read it. And oh, another thing. Again, very off topic. I think the creator of Fullmetal Alchemist, which is manga and anime, was heavily inspired by this book. Again, there is the capital scene, so to speak, of the two brothers. So, for who's never heard about this piece of art, actually, let's start seeing that it's a masterpiece. So there are two brothers. They're children, like 8 years old, something like that. And again, it's in Germany. They never say that Germany is like fictional environment, but it looks like Germany at some point in history. Everybody's blonde. It's Germany. It's clearly Germany. The names are kind of German. There is Marco and these names. Okay. And what happens is that these two brothers, they lose their mother for some reason, and of course they want to bring her back. Okay. In this in this masterpiece, there's magic. Okay, in this story, there's magic involved, which is called alchemy. Okay, so they can create stuff from nothing or change materials and stuff. It's about materials. Okay, and so these two kids like perform black magic, so to speak, a forbidden how do you say, forbidden magic ritual to bring the mother back. So they gather all the materials, all the ingredients for a human, but they miscounted for the soul, and for the sort of a rule of balance. So if you want to create life, you need to give life. They didn't account for that. So what happened is that mother is physically bigger than these two boys. So what happens is that to bring the mother back, to have a human body that's bigger than yours, you need to give away a human body plus the parts that would make an entire body. So let's say two kids, they want to make an adult, a kid has to go, plus I don't know, two legs, to make up for the missing body mass, to make up for the adult that they want to summon. Okay. So in this case, one of the two brothers loses his entire body, and the other brother is losing like an arm and a leg, something like that. Okay, and the story moves on with her. This to me is clearly inspired by Frankenstein, because I guess they did something forbidden that's only meant for God to do, create life, and they have to pay the price for that. Now I'm curious what's gonna happen to Dr. Frankenstein. How is he gonna pay the price? What happened to the creature itself? Like, he just ran away. He was ashamed of his creation. He ran away, then went back, and the creature disappeared. So what happened there? How did they end up in the North Pole? That's a long journey. And what's gonna happen after these flashbacks, so to speak? Like, how's the story gonna move forward? I'm gonna find out. Okay. Hopefully I inspired you to, I don't know, watch Fullmetal Alchemist or read it. Read Frankenstein, the original text, 1818. And what else did I mention? Yeah, watch Obsession. And the other movie that I don't know the title about, but still a good one. And yeah, have a nice day, bro.